Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode. And today's topic discussion is women's health, or I would say women in their 40s, their health and well-being. When I was growing up, or when I was in certain stages of my life, I was searching for certain kind of answers, and I couldn't find answers for many questions that I had in my mind. And I think by making these kind of videos, I'm also trying to find answers to my questions, and I'm trying to find answers to the questions for people, or women, or I think people in general, for the people who are around me as well. So these are all questions that comes to me, or I've heard people discussing these kind of topics, and so I thought, why not pick up this topic, because like the age bar or the age criteria has been changing tremendously in the last couple of years, especially as I'm saying, there is an information overload happening all around the world. People are seeking out new adventures. People have become much more self-conscious, are trying to find better methods to take care of themselves and presenting themselves better than how they used to be. And so with all the self-awareness and topics of wellness and well-being and health is being promoted, or people are honestly trying to put themselves in a healthier situation rather than how it used to be. Nowadays, I think what I understand is that people who smoke have reduced compared to how it used to be, not because people doesn't enjoy smoking, but because people are much more giving priority to their health rather than a pleasure, momentary pleasures. So the mindset has changed a lot in the last couple of years, where people's health and well-being is given a lot of importance. Now coming to women, what was my mindset in my 20s is not the mindset that I have in my 30s and in my 40s. So everybody are evolving, and especially nowadays, I would say that as women we grow older, the mindset of ourselves and the people around us has been changing considerably, and are changing at a very fast pace. Like when I was growing up, a 40-year-old person was considered to be very old, was considered to be of an older generation. But now the 40s is no longer the 40s how it used to be, and people are seeking for answers. People are it's that stage of life where you are like, you have seen a lot of life, you have seen people, you have had different kinds of experiences, unlike the 20s and 30s where you're exploring a lot of things. In 40s, it is much more different story than how it was in our 20s or 30s. And I thought that this topic would be of significance to people like me who are looking for these kind of questions, who have these kind of questions and answers. For this, as always, I have done a little bit of research, not extensive thorough research, because I'm planning to include points from my own experiences as well. So rather than doing an extensive research, I've just tried to include a kind of a raw video without much research or effort. But when I tried to put in a little effort, and when I searched the internet with regard to well-being and health of women in their 40s, this is what I came across. And this is like the standard format, and I think anybody can go through the internet and get these kind of topics covered. So these are not the kind of topics I want to cover today. I want to cover something a little different. That people are into holistic lifestyle. Like holistic means a complete well-being. Internally well, you are well, emotionally you are well, physically you are well, and mentally you are well. So it is like a holistic approach to health and well-being, not only how you look or how you are trying to make up yourself, or not only the work or not only the personal part. As a person, how you can be complete. I come across people who say that I feel empty inside, or I come across people who keep saying that I am going through a midlife crisis. I'm not clear about my life. I'm not sure about what I want to do. Is this called midlife crisis, or is this called perimenopause? So many questions I hear from my peers, and when I try to do some research also, these kind of topics is what I came across. So rather than approaching this particular topic in the standard manner, I want to put in my own points and see how this topic develops into. Okay, so today I'm going to discuss 5 points as okay, I think 5 points has become something. It gives a clarity, to the listeners as to what are we going to discuss. So the 5 points that we are going to cover, or that I'm going to cover here, are: first point is approach to life, second point is what changed, third point is what to eat, fourth point is how much exercise, and fifth point is how to be happy. I think if I cover these 5 points, it gives holistic approach to living. Okay, as always, these are just my understanding and my points. So I don't know, you have to do your own thinking and understand, and try to think how much of these points are feasible to you and accept them accordingly. And whatever you think that no, this is not what I'm looking for, this is not what I want, please feel free to skip this video. These are the 5 things I believe can give an holistic understanding or a holistic approach to our life. So let's dive into it. So when we say health and well-being, okay, let me clear this first of all. Health and well-being is just not about weight, like the fat, the thin, the medium. I don't think that is the concept of being healthy. Just because a person is fat doesn't mean the person is completely unhealthy, and just because a person is thin doesn't mean the person is completely healthy. Okay, this is what the experts are saying. I'm not an expert in that field, so I do not know. From what I understood by listening to experts is the weight does not determine the health index of a person. So this, let me make very, very clear here. And wealth is okay, and health is not something, weight is not something I'm going to discuss here. That is, again, I leave it to individuals to decide what kind of wealth what kind of health you want to maintain for yourself. Okay, it's your own choice. You can decide what you want to do with the kind of weight you want to put on, or the weight you want to reduce. Okay, so let's get into the first point. And the first point is approach to life. Okay, it's completely different than how I approach my life in my 20s and 30s. The most prominent change or in my approach to life happened that the things that bothers, the number of things that bothers me has changed. In my 20s, the amount of things that bothered me were huge in the sense, a lot of things bothered me in many ways. In my 30s, the things that bothered became half of the things that bothered me in the 20s. The number of the criteria of things that bothered me in my 20s got reduced to half in my 30s. And in my 40s, the things that bothers me has completely gone nil. Okay, so here it's just my own opinions. So a lot of things used to bother me when I was younger, and as I approached my 40s, nothing is actually making the kind of impact that used to make an impact in my 20s or 30s. Just, I don't know how this is happening, but this is what is happening. So the approach to life completely changed, and things just boom. I don't know how it changed, and the things that used to bother has, I don't know, it's completely disappeared. Probably this is what is called, like, you become wiser when you grow older. I don't know, maybe this is the definition why people say that people become wiser when they grow older is because the things that bothers just disappears, and you are like okay with the things how they are with the things. Okay, just my points, okay, just my opinion only. So this was the first point. The second point is my goals. The goals that I used to keep in my 20s changed when I approached my 30s, and the goals that I have right now in my 40s are completely different than how I approached my goals in my 20s or 30s. So I used to give a lot of importance to my relationships. In my earlier days or my younger days, I used to give a huge importance to the relationship and people, how they perceived me, how they approached me. It all mattered to me. But in the 40s, that thing shifted to myself. Like rather than prioritizing my relationships and the people around, that approach just shifted to myself. I'm like, I don't know. Simply a switch just goes off where you start prioritizing yourself rather than the relationships or the people in general. I don't know how this happens, but maybe when you reach a certain age, you are like, okay, it's time to prioritize yourself rather than prioritizing every other person around you. That doesn't mean that people are not giving importance to the family members or your relatives or your friends. You just start putting yourself first rather than other people first. And I think that is a lesson everybody need to learn. Like whenever you're taking a decision, it's better you prioritize yourself rather than you prioritize others. Because I used to be so super empathetic that I used to prioritize everybody more than myself. But that switch just went off in my 40s, and you feel that your life is limited. So let's make a maximum use of your life rather than investing your effort and time on other people or other people's situations. So this is the second thing that changed for me. First thing was approach towards my life changed. Nothing bothers me as much as how it used to be when I was younger. Second one, my goals changed. My goals completely changed. Third point is, what do we eat? Okay, so like the kind of diet and those things that I believe are completely personal. You start making choices. Like when you eat, you realize how your body is responding to certain things. If certain food types are making you sluggish, if certain food types are making you active. So you yourself, like from the second point, when you start prioritizing your health and well-being, you start focusing on what you're eating, how much you're eating. So there's a term that WWE, not the World Wrestling Foundation or anything like that. This WWE, what I'm referring to is what you eat and when you eat. So I felt in my 40s that is making a lot of difference. Like in our 20s, like nothing bothered, like whatever we ate, whatever I ate, nothing bothered me much. In my 30s, things changed a little bit. What I ate and when I ate started making a little bit of differences to me. It started impacting my sleep cycle. Like if I overate, it impacted my sleep cycle, especially in my 40s, okay, not in my 30s as much. 30s, it was like, yeah, probably a little bit of heartburn here and there. But now in the 40s, yes, what I'm eating and when I'm eating is actually impacting my lifestyle. So what we eat and when we eat in our 40s is, I believe from my experience, is very, very significant because just listen to your body and how it is responding. Like like most of the weekends we try to sleep late, and we used to we try to enjoy the weekend a little bit more, chilled and relaxed. So it actually impacts the sleep cycle and the digestion process and the metabolism compared to how it impacted me in my 20s or 30s. So what I think is a little bit of control on what we are eating and how and when we are eating is making a lot of difference to our overall performances in our day-to-day routines. So this is something I found a lot of different in my 40s compared to my 20s and 30s. Now the fourth point is, how much of exercise do we need when we are in 40s? Again, this is completely personal and individual. You have to decide how much of exercise you need, what kind of exercise you need. There are a lot of professionals out there who are like who can be personal trainers. Now I come across a lot of nutritionists, personal trainers who are like, so good in their profession, who can guide people to whatever, if they are looking for a weight loss, if they're looking for what is that, weight training, or if you're looking up muscle building, whatever, like there are some fabulous trainers and nutritionists out there. If you need help, get help from those people and regulate or customize or create your own schedule of exercise patterns. What I understand from a little bit of studies that I made is that every day half an hour of exercise is enough, or if you can 5 hours of exercise, even less. I understand that 5 hours of exercise in a week is more than enough when you are in 40s. Even I think half an hour daily, that articulates to how many hours? 3 to 5 hours of exercise in a week is good to go for a person in 40s. Is what I understand. Okay, and the kind of exercise that you need you have to choose your own type of exercise which is feasible for you. If you want to go to the gym, again you have to choose, make the options. If you prefer to go to the gym or outdoor walk, outdoor running, a personal trainer, all these things, you have to listen to your body and your own circumstances and then make the decision. Okay, so rather than blindly copying any diet or blindly copying an influencer's or somebody else's suggestions, you listen to your own body, like how much you need. And again, there are professionals out there who can actually help you out. And in case you are not able to get a professional, you can sketch your own plans by listening to your body and working out your own ideas of eating healthy and doing the right kind of exercise. Start listening to your body, how much of exercise you're able to do and when you're able to do, and how much food intake is impacting you in what way, impact your metabolism in what way, energy levels in what way, activity levels in what way, and you can actually make your own plans. Again, this is just my personal view and points. You're free to make your own decisions depending upon your own thinking and understanding and studies. Okay, so this is the fourth point. And the fifth and the very most important point that I personally believe is how to be happy. Being happy, because when I was growing up, I have come across a lot of women. When they get older, they tend to be very, very unhappy. Maybe it is the hormonal changes, maybe the things they were not able to do when they were younger. So there can be a lot of factors that can pull us down from not being happy. Not only women, even men. When people get older, they tend to be less happier and cheerful than how they used to be in their younger days. This is what I have seen when I'm growing up, or older people are considered to be less cheerful and less and more in their temper and more unhappy about the general things around their lives. So I definitely wanted to include this point in this discussion, like how to be happy and how to be, how to live a cheerful life compared to a sad or lonely or unhappy life. So what I came across and what I got these points from discussions with the experts who tackle these kind of points is that just ask you to just live in the present. As long as we live in the present, we do not think of the past and we are not worried about the future. So it's easier to say than to do. I understand it's a very, very tough thing to do, to forget everything that happened in the past and not to worry about the future. It is a very difficult task for all of us. I'm very much aware, but this is a solution what the experts are giving. Like, if we want to live a happy life, we need to focus on the present. Just focus and to focus on ourselves rather than focusing on other people's lives or other people's situations. So start focusing on ourselves, and in the present we can lead a much more happier and contentful life. This is something I understood from the experts. And when I listen to some people who are discussing these kind of points, what I come across is that what I found from them is that what do I say, happiness, it has to come within. Like, nobody can make you happy. Maybe a comedian can make you laugh for a couple of seconds or minutes, but at the end of the day, the happiness has to come from within yourself, to feel joyful about your life and to be content about your life. That has to come from within. If the inner thing is empty, then you do not find much joy or happiness and love outside, correct? It has to come from within. By the time people are in their 40s, they've seen a lot, they've come across a lot of life experiences, whether it's related to job, whether it's related to relationships, whether it's children. You have seen a lot in your life, and you have reached a situation where you are like, okay, now when you do a self-introspection, then you understand, like, what is my inside? Is it full? Is it empty? Is it half full? You would know, like, what is going on inside. So, like, future, like, we don't know what is going to happen in the future. So I think this is one of the reasons why, like, in our elders or older generation believed in fate. Like in Malayalam and all, we say vidhi, it's vidhi, or it's fate. Like, why people used to believe in fate, I think personally, is because when they believe at certain age, they think that they do not have, nobody has any control over the future, and so they just want to feel themselves happy and content and say it was just fate. It was fate and nothing was in our control, so we left it to fate. So I think that is a way to convince ourselves or to make our soul feel better that things didn't go as per we expected because it was fate. Like, probably we could have had changed the course of the fate by acting differently, or doing differently things. But if we keep thinking about those things, then we are not in a situation of joy or happiness. So things were out of our control, and we leave it to fate that things didn't work out the way we wanted it to work out. So I think the word fate was invented so we humans can live a happy and contentful life, that things didn't work out the way we wanted it to because of fate. Okay, this one point again I took from the experts who research in this particular topic. Another thing is, again, living in the present and forgetting the past. You have to learn that's all. Like, okay, from the past mistakes, from the past whatever we came across in our lives, we learn and we grow. Otherwise, without all those experiences, we won't be what we are. If you ask me what I want to change in my past, I don't want to change anything from my past. I'm happy, I'm glad that all those things happened. So it molded me into the person who I am today. Without all those experiences, without all those learning, with all those failures, with all those successes, I don't think I would be the person who I am today. So I think it's all part and parcel of life, and we take it and move on. And another point. Again, being happy doesn't mean that, oh, you have to listen to some comedy and make yourself happy and funny every time. No, I didn't mean like that. And you should keep away from conflicts. No, nothing like that. You choose your battles, which battle you want to take up and which battle you do not want to take up. So nobody's life is without any conflict. You choose your conflict, which conflict you want to take up or which conflict you want to let go. Okay, conflicts and disagreements and all those things are part of everybody's life. And as humans, I always say, all of us have different kinds of emotions. Like in India, I think we believe in 7 emotions or 9 emotions, something like that. In our art forms, we perform, I don't know, Navarasa. Okay, so I think it's 9 kind of emotions. Like humans have 9 kinds of different emotions is what we are taught in our art forms and all that. So yeah, so as humans we have so many different kinds of emotions, and so we have to tackle them. And so you pick and choose which battles you want to take up and which battles you want to let go. I would never say that you have to let go of everything. Then that is a stage when we become sannyasis, like we have a stage like in our what do I say, in our scriptures we are taught that each person's life goes through different formats like brahmacharya, and then it ends with excuse me, then we reach a stage where we let go of all the worldly pleasures, and then we become a sage like person, so that we call Sanyasam or Sanyasi, like that format. So it's all your own choices, like what kind of lifestyle you want to lead. And so, but I would say that as normal people, we need to pick and choose between the battles that we want to take up and the battles which we want to let go. But ultimately, at the end of the day, let's have more happy 40-year-olds around us, and rather than the sad and bad-tempered older beings. So let's have much more cheerful people all around us. And of course there are topics related to people who are discussing a lot of like the perimenopause and those factors, hormonal changes impacting both men and women. These hormonal changes and all impact, irrespective of gender, it impacts both men and women as per the experts. Okay, like we used to believe, and what I understand is that there are very few studies done on women's health. Like throughout the history, the health studies were majorly done on men rather than women. So we do not have many studies related to women's health in their 40s. Like even when we try to do much research, we do not have specific solutions or specific hormonal change related or perimenopause or menopause related topics concerning women, because not much studies has been done with regard to women's health. So we are not aware of much of the challenges related to women's health because of the limited studies available in the world. Now the younger doctors or the new doctors or the new researchers need to do studies with regard to women to understand like what are the kind of challenges women face in their 40s, to realize that how we can tackle our challenges going forward. So let me just see if I covered all the topics. So I believe that I covered all the topics with regard to all the points with regard to this particular topic. So I'll just summarize the 5 points that I discussed here. The first one is approach towards life. Changes in my approach towards life, changes in the goals, like the goals that I wanted to achieve changed considerably. And the third is what to eat, when to eat. It's like WWE. Fourth one, how much of exercise is required. Fifth one, how to be happy. Okay, with regard to how much exercise, so now you'd be curious, I think I did not cover it in that segment. How much exercise do I do generally? I prefer to walk, and walking is a form of exercise that I enjoy the most, and I try to cover a certain amount of steps every day. So I have a target to achieve, like I set a specific target to achieve in a specific day, and Dylan also suggests me, and Dylan also, I consult a lot of, we do a lot of health and food related discussions and arguments, like, okay, this much exercise, this much food, this kind of food. We do a lot of chatting with regard to this. So he suggests me certain kind of things, and if I find it is suitable to me, then I try to do that, because he also is interested in these kind of topics, and he does his own research to understand, like, what all to be incorporated into our life. So that is something helpful. He tries to follow his own kind of regimen, and I try to follow my own kind of regimen to keep up, like, what is suitable to me. So I generally try to go for walks, and I prefer walking. So I put a target for myself and try to achieve that particular steps in a day. So at least I feel content that, okay, I put in some effort towards my daily routine of exercise. So okay, I just wanted to include my exercise routine, like what I do. Apart from that, I try to incorporate, like, if I feel like, or if I'm bored of certain kind of routine, I try to include other forms of exercises as well. So yeah, so these are the kind of things I wanted to share as part of this topic discussion. I hope this is useful to whoever is here, and as always, please share your inputs, and looking forward to it. So, and other related things with regard to this topic, I think I may put it in a separate video. So thank you all for your time here, and bye bye.